We're doing a 2004 Mazda RX8 ignition upgrade to the BHR ignition kit, wires and plugs. What you're going to want to do, you're going to want to disconnect the battery, and then you're going to jack the vehicle up and support it. To get to the spark plugs, it'll be easier if you take the wheel off, which is 21 millimeter. You take the wheel off, put it out of the way. You got your splash guard, just take off and slide it out of the way to access your spark plugs and wires. And then some of the tools you'll need are 13/16 for the spark plugs, about a 3-inch extension on a 3/8 ratchet. The 21 millimeter is for the lug nuts. Needle nose will be for the plastic clips here, so you can pop them out easy. You need a Phillips for the air intake clamps, 10 millimeter for one of the grounding wires, and to take the coils off. If you have a through ratchet, that'll make the job a million times easier to do the coils. Copper anti-seize for the spark plugs, and dielectric grease for the plug wires. Okay, we'll jump into disconnecting the Maf sensor. Move that out of the way. Disconnect that. Unplug that. And then you'll have this connector. It'll be connected, so you won't have much room to move. You'll take this clamp and loosen it, and you'll loosen this clamp here, and that'll allow for the intake box to pop straight up. Then you can pull back some. A little harder to do when it's one-handed. You'll pop the ends out right there, out of the holes. You can flip this over. This will be on the back side. You can reach it with the needle nose pliers to pop that out. But then you'll have this hose, and I disconnect it from the elbow instead of right here, because sometimes me and plastic don't get along and I break things. But then you have another plastic clip, and you'll use the needle nose to take that off. And while you have this out, you can get some mass airflow cleaner, take the sensor out and spray it down real good. And to take that sensor out, it's held in by 2 Phillips. Take it out, spray it down real good. Be very careful while cleaning this. Then when you're done, put it back in. Don't over tighten. And then for the accordion, you'll just pull it off. Okay, focus. There we go. Just move it out of the way right there. Be careful not to move too much, because these do break quite a bit. Once you have everything out of the way, there was another plastic clip, but it got brittle and it was already broken on here, and that's for the alternator. So you'll just move that up out of the way. Same with the intake line. Just move them out of the way. And what you're gonna do now, you're gonna take and disconnect all the connectors off the old one. Since I already have it installed, it's still pretty much the same idea. You'll disconnect each one of those. You'll take off all the spark plug boots And then there are 4 10mm bolts that hold each coil in. Take those off, and you get the BHR kit, and you can install it. But before you do that, there's, let's see if I can see them, little white nylon spacers that they put on the zip tie around the spark plugs, and those go under to keep it even. And if you pay attention to this one, because it gets a little close, so you gotta push it down some to clear it so it doesn't scrape. Another thing I do, I take the harness and I'll bend it down this way. That way there's more room and it's out of the way, and I do the same to the back. I bend it down and move it out of the way. And when you go install it, you don't want to over tighten it, but you do want to make them snug enough, that way they won't loosen up on you. Connect all the connectors. I put this connector here, that way it didn't hang out in here anywhere, or if the belt broke, it's less likely to hit it. And you can see all the other ones here, how I have them. Just make sure all the wires clear and they don't rub on anything, especially right here. And for this one, I put it there. Then as you can see how all the wires ran. Everything's marked for wires and spark plugs, so you don't have to be too afraid of doing it. But this is leading 1, trailing 1, leading 2, trailing 2. And it's usually long, short with the factory setup. After you have all that done, the next step to this coil is the grounding wire, which is right here. I run it under the ABS lines, but in front of the other one. So it's under all of them, and it runs the whole ways up to this wire harness. And let me see if I can, oh, guess the light is on. Runs up behind the wire harness and comes up right there, and I connect in with the set of ground wires there, and that's a 10mm. In order to get to the spark plugs and take them off, you're gonna have to take the wires off. And to do that, you just grab on the boots and give them a little twist and pull on all of them. And remember, it's long, short, leading 1, trailing 1, leading 2, trailing 2. So after you get those all off, you got the, let's see if I can see it here, where they all clip in. So you just gotta disconnect them from there, and then to get them off the spark plugs, just grab them and give a little twist and pull at the same time. And then to put them back on, you push and listen for the click. And don't forget the dielectric grease on the ends of the spark plug boots. And I use a little bit of copper anti-seize for the spark plugs when I put them back in. But this is how I route my wires. I usually do leading down, trailing up, leading down, trailing up. And the same for the positions. As you can see, trailing 2, leading to the other ones you can't really see. But that's how you do the spark plug wires. To access the spark plugs, you're going to have to take the rim off, and the lug nuts are a 21 millimeter. After you get them out, you can take the tire off, and then you have this little splash guard, and that just pulls off, and you can just move it out of the way. And then the spark plugs are all visible. You got leading 1, trailing 2, and leading 2. And they are a 13/16. And in order to get them out, I use a 3/8 ratchet, about I believe it's a 3-inch adapter, and just come in here, put it on. You can tighten, loosen just like that for this side. Then to get to the top one, you bring it down, and there's going to be a little resistance because you got a hose right there, but then you can get it out this way. And when you come to the front side, just bring it on. You can loosen and tighten going like this. And as for the top, the same way, just right down here like that. So again, trailing 1 to loosen and tighten. It's easier doing it like this. Leading 1, it's easier like this. Trailing 2, it's easier like this. And then leading 2, it's easier like this.